Hello, hello. We are live, and we
Hey,
have Matej with us tonight. This is but I'm just checking things. Okay, cool. Mobile off. There we go. Cool. So first talk show with guests in English on Mr. JP channel. Let me know if you can hear the mic well. Usually this mic is kind of a funky with me, but it should be better now. Matej, you hear me well?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay.
How's my sound?
I think it's good. I hear you good. So people who are watching in chat, let me know if you hear Matej, how you hear Matej. Anyway.
And there's going to be some background noise. So this is going to be a commercial for children.
Okay.
So anybody considering children, listen to the noises. You're going to see what you can have in your house.
Yeah. Hopefully mine is sleeping. Usually this hour from 7 to midnight, 7 to 11. So fingers crossed it stays like this forever. Not forever.
Aren't you awesome? Dads of small children being out there making a difference. Yo.
Stream. Okay, so basically this is it. It's gonna be talk shows with different guests every Wednesday until New Year. Till that we are having booked every Wednesday at 20 CET sharp. So yeah, Matej's first guest in English. This is our 7th talk show, but first one in English. So Matej, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm in a time of life that I'm quite overwhelmed with opportunities, and at the same time with how the world is changing.
Okay.
And I'm intensely thinking of the future, of my own future, of the future of Slovenia, of the future of the humanity. I'm really thinking of the future a lot.
Okay, got it. I mean,
how are you?
Very different answer that we are usually getting when we ask people, "How are you?" So yeah, and we will get to that. How basically, what make you change the response from I'm doing well, good to what you just said. So how I'm doing is I'm in this loop of being a dad to a 3-week-old and want to do these talk shows and streams and all the other things, so it's funny times, and my mind is overwhelmed, so I feel tired all the time. But yeah, okay, let's keep on rolling. So basically the first question that I always ask my guests is, this show, its intention is, to give something to young people, to teenagers, to people who are searching themselves in life, so how to find a passion, purpose in life, and then how to live it. So all my guests are basically living their passion, and that is one of the things that who are the guests that are coming. So but the first question always is, Matej, who were Matej as a teenager? So what did work for you? What didn't work as a teenager? What did you miss? How did you deal with the world? Did you know at that time what you're going to be doing? Stuff.
Well, I started with my first business when I was 13. I sold stickers in an elementary school. I started with a second business, which was illegal. I was selling the pirate CDs when I was from the age of 14.
Okay, how did you get to the idea?
First business was 12, actually. Well, I was, I loved computers, and the software coming with it, and was just inaccessible. So I would be buying the pirate software for much lower prices at different people that offered it at that time. And then at some point, actually, I got my wallet stolen in Ljubljana.
At the age of what? How old?
At the age of 13, I think.
Okay.
And for some reason, I got so upset about that incident. How somebody dared to... I didn't know whom, but I left it somewhere and it was gone. It's like how they dared, take all the money I had, which was maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30 euros in today's money, whatever dollars were at that time, I don't know, but I had a little bit of money and all was gone. And I was like, I want to have a way to make money. And that's when I thought, I could copy the CDs like what I'm buying from those people, and I could be getting lots of games, and I could be playing all those games and then selling the CDs. That's why I started, and I became one of the biggest pirates in Slovenia at that time. 13, 14, 15, I had this large list of clients, including the police was also my client. So when I got reported, I think one of my clients first tried to save me from being, and then the police actually came and they looked through my house, and they kind of was quite dramatic.
Yeah, at what age was that? I mean, how old were you when the police?
14. Yeah, 14. I was 14. I was like
how it was 1 year, for your parents,
into the business.
When the police come to your house, how did the parents took it?
Well, I don't. They didn't know much about the software stuff, so they weren't really aware, like, as to whether what I'm doing is something illegal. They just saw that I was copying something and then kept going to the mail back and forth, and I bought myself computers and phones and everything at that time, and they kind of thought, well, he's innovative,
Okay.
But at that time, then, they changed my mind a bit, I guess, when this happened. But I think that my parents were really supportive to me in whatever crazy ideas I had. My dad supported me from the business side. Whatever ideas I had, he would be, trying to support me and help me and do his best. And as for my mom, she supported me a lot with reading and with, education. And, she was bringing me, dozens of books from the library, and she was really kind of encouraging that part of me. So I think these are the two things I can really thank my parents for. To my mom for my love of reading and vocabulary and languages and everything I kind of got, and then to my dad, the innovativeness and seeing the third path in between that nobody else sees.
Awesome. And then, okay, so that is in the early ages of teens. You were 13, 14, already 2 businesses, and then getting reported, police at your house. And then how it went in high school,
High school was a bit of a dark period for me. So that time, picture me, I'm 15, devoted Christian. I'm still going to church once or twice a week, and I'm being a altar boy, and I'm like hanging out with priests and like this kind of community, and I had my own really strong beliefs about the world and God and all that. And then in this liberal high school where most people weren't that, they had different opinions and beliefs. So from that standpoint, that was a bit weird. And then secondly, I was a bit clumsy in relationships, especially in the high school. So I had these big expectations that once I get to high school, I'm going to become some kind of a sports star, and I'm going to be really, cool with girls, and I'm going to have lots of friends, because elementary school is really cool for me. I really enjoyed built all these business friendships and everything. And then, I don't know, the high school was quite tough for me. I wasn't quite accepted in a school. I mean, kind of admired in some ways, but kind of like people were a bit, they kept distance with me. So I guess mostly lonely, so to say, through my high school years. I would want to be with more people, friends, girlfriends, whatever, but I wasn't.
Okay. And how did you deal with that?
So in my mind was, I was certain there's something wrong with me. So I was quite, I visited the school psychologist quite often. So I was, there explaining her about my lack of confidence, how I'm feeling, and how I can't make friends and all that. And then I tried to learn different techniques of how can I get myself peaceful, how can I get myself interesting, how can I get myself, something. And I was very much in this fixing mode, need to fix myself all the way across my high school.
It's really awesome what you're saying, because if what you're saying, I compare it to today in between teenagers, the experience I have when I work with them, right, is there's a lot of apathy, and they're searching for themselves what to do in life. There is, a lot of bullying going on, even from the stage, now even on social medias and stuff like that. It's not only when you're in school now, it can go 24/7, when we were young, it was only in school. You went home, nobody, at home you had peace from whatever happened, the school environment, and now they don't. And it's really admirable that you said you went to the school psychologist and you do something, because a lot of kids don't go because they're afraid, they're afraid that it will go out of the office. It will, like, everybody will then know something is wrong with them. And yeah, that's really, but the interesting what you said is that you thought that there is something wrong with you, which is one thing, in my workshops I ask teenagers, who here thinks he's normal? Raise your hand. And nobody raised their hand. It came from a question. When I got a question, why am I a weirdo? And then I asked, who here thinks he's normal? And nobody raised their hand. And then I said, you see, this is your answer. It's not just you that think you're weird. Everybody thinks they're weird.
I really had a strong feeling that I'm weird when I was a teenager. It's true. It must be an experience of many teenagers, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in that age, you are searching who you really are, what you want to do in life. People are coming over with these important questions. Oh, what faculty will you go? Now you have to decide. It's going for the rest of your life. And yeah, these talk shows. In these talk shows, I want to show them that there are different ways how people find their like passion and what they're gonna do in life, and that there is no right way to do it. So yeah, we're gonna look now how you. So that was in high school, and then what basically did you do next? How did you deal with that? How did you find out that there is, I don't know, maybe nothing wrong, but at the end of high school, then what happened then?
So maybe just to jump a bit, like you said that you interview people who are passionate, just so I can introduce myself maybe to the teenagers who are listening to that, or whomever else. I think I would call myself someone who followed my passion. Just like a couple of things that I've done from the age of 19 to 21, I went traveling around the world. I was traveling and wrote a book about it. And at that time, most of Slovenia was following me. I had, I don't know, 120,000 followers or something on the blog. So I was really, really popular at that time. And traveling was one of my passions. The second day was I went into the expertise of how to get a girlfriend, and I was quite successful, both in like actually finding girlfriends and then eventually settling with a really fantastic wife. So I think I'm really lucky about that, and I have 2 kids that are just gorgeous. And thirdly, I'm really passionate about new technologies, especially how the new technologies can make somebody productive, that they can learn faster, that they can read faster, that they can do more, they can earn more money, whatever. And I'm lucky to be doing that right now. That's my new career actually that I'm starting. And also I got in between, I got really passionate about languages, especially because in the high school I couldn't learn German ever. And then I thought, I'm kind of dumb for it. And then I became a language coach, and I've now successfully coached almost 500 people. I'm just now I have 49 people on the year-long program that it's completing this year. So that's kind of my passion that I'm following. And the fourth passion I'm following is really being a coach and being like somebody who understands personal development. So somebody who can be with people and really kind of change their perspectives. And right now I'm being quite successful at that. So these are maybe my 5 passions that I want to mention, so that you guys can follow a bit like how I develop them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
So back to your question, right? Should I go back to your question, or?
Yeah, we can also go back to the question. And where did you get the passion for traveling? Did you like inherit it, or did you travel a lot with your parents, or with just some?
It came from suppression, I came from suppression because we didn't travel much as a family. We went to Croatia every year, and that was it. So I've never visited any other country. Basically, I've been to Sicily once when I was 9, and I traveled by airplane once, and then I've heard friends going to Canada, going to America, going to Africa, where I've never been there. So like, I had this growing frustration, and what I've done most of the time on the geography classes, I've been like traveling with my fingers on the map and just imagining where I would be going. So, and I remember I'm 16, I'm sitting close to my friend Clement, and I told him, what, Clement, I'm gonna go traveling, man. I said, yeah, where? Everywhere. I'm gonna go around the world. Look, I'm gonna go like this. He said, cool, man, go for it. And the teacher said, quiet, guys. And I kept dreaming. Okay. That was kind of something I started this big dream, how I'm going to one day go traveling all around. And then my dad invited me to some trip when we were 18. I was 18, and he had a friend who had some sailboat. So he got us on, and we went on a sailboat around Caribbean. And what I've done most of the time, I was sitting in front of a computer inside of a cabin and going through that Encarta World Atlas, that time, and planning my trip around the world. I was like counting kilometers, where would I go, across Trans-Siberian Railway, all that, right? I was just dreaming. And then when I'm 19,
so actually, can I just stop you?
July.
Can I sure. Because I want to catch you. So your dad invited you on a boat, and you were sailing in Caribbean? Did you say
I was, yeah. Yeah.
So you were sailing in Caribbean with your dad, and you were in the boat down below the deck. How to say, mapping out your own travel around the world.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, my dad would be outside with adults, kind of like drinking wine and enjoying stuff. And I was the youngest guy of all, right? So I was like the one kind of, being down there and thinking and,
Yeah, okay, got it.
Dreaming of my own trip.
Okay. And then you...
And then I kept saying to people, kept saying to random strangers, hey, I'm going on a trip around the world. Say, oh, really? When? And then I started explaining them, I'm going there and there and there. And at some point, I actually knocked on the Pop TV, the 24 hours office. And I said, look, guys, I'm going to go around the world. Would you be willing to cover my trip? And then they said, whoa, that's interesting. So that the TV crews came to us, and my mom said, well, I'm still hoping he's not going. And I'm 19. It was 19th of July, and I actually packed my backpack and left. Okay. And I left with no money also. So I kind of because since my parents found out that about this crazy idea, they cut my finances.
Okay.
So I didn't have any money. So was basically the last money I had was about 150 euros. That's all I could get, and that's why I took with me. And
so
left.
You went on a travel with 150 euros around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us. So you traveled for 2 years. You said from 19 to 21.
No. 18 months, year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay. So can you share with us quickly how it went? Like with 150 euros in your pocket, going travel around the world. Where did you go first?
So imagine me. I'm sitting, I'm standing in front of my house in Matej, close to Postojna, right, with a big backpack, another backpack here, full of food, and then guitar.
Okay.
And I'm going towards Bologna, towards Italy. And I don't know where I'm gonna be going. I had a little mobile phone at that time, credit card, in any case, that I would use, if I ran out of money. And then I actually ran out of money in about 5 days. I'm in Bologna. I'm hungry, and I go out to the street and start playing guitar. And it took me about 2 hours to earn 2 euros for a sandwich. So that was the first day. No, that was the beginning. And I went on to Rome and then back to France, and in France I actually discovered a way how to earn much more money. So I went to different restaurants. I bought myself the thingy around my neck, so I could stand and play guitar, and I would entertain guests with. I was kind of testing the songs, which one would go better. I've never been that good at guitar or something, but I just I was just daring, and I just kind of tried. And then I went around with a hat, and I'm traveling around the world. I'm a peace traveler, and and kind of whatever people gave me the money. So that's that. France. Then I went to Spain. I walked Camino de Santiago in Spain, 800 kilometers.
Okay, I did that too.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I did it too. I don't know, 8 years ago. Yeah, with a friend, we went together. I think it's 8 years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh wow, awesome! Did you go all the way to Finisterre, or did you stop at Santiago de Compostela?
No, we stopped there and then we took a bus to Finisterre.
Okay.
And we were there for a week. I think we take it as a vacation on the Atlantic Ocean.
I got it. I got it. And then I went to Portugal. And then I went to Madrid. From Madrid, flew to New York.
Mm-hmm.
That's one ticket.
How did you scoop the money for that?
That ticket was actually a gift from my dad.
Okay.
So I got 24 tickets on this trip, I think, and about 5 of them were bought by my dad. Usually when he came to see me, so my dad saw me. Like he went see me in 3 or 4 times in the trip around the world. So in Spain, and then in Miami, then in Mexico in Cancun, then in Mexico City, and then in where else? In India.
Okay.
Yeah. So he came to see me in those places, and he usually bought the next plane ticket for me, because I had this rule that when I was traveling, only the locals could contribute to my journey. Mm-hmm. So when my dad came, he was a local, so he could buy me something. But I would never buy, for example, I would never buy 2 plane tickets. So I'd never get even the food when I got from people. I'd never get it for 2 days or something. I've been kind of I've tried to be like a Buddhist monk, kind of just being like there. And right now I'm hungry. Okay, so right now I need food, and then I'm back with what I'm being with myself. So, and then back, get food and so.
Okay, interesting.
The interesting thing was in this trip, my spiritual journey was interesting in this time. I was, as a teenager, as I said, I was super religious. I was like really, really, really religious. And I believed many things. And then as I was on this trip around the world, getting in touch with different religions, with different people, with different thinking, I first kind of held on to my beliefs. And then I gradually kind of started, easing it out, And then I came actually to a complete opposite end of being someone who knows nothing and believes in nothing, and is kind of like curious about what people believe in. So I got really curious in religions, and then left with none. So that was kind of one of my things that happened in the trip.
Awesome. And if you share with us briefly, beside that about your religion, what did you get from the whole experience of 1 year traveling around, living day to day, putting yourself at the challenge, that you will only take it from the locals, nobody else can contribute to you, and also writing the blog, and then
so the very end of the trip, I'm in Himachal Pradesh, in the north of India. That was that was right after I met with President Anoshek in India, and I slept in a presidential suite. I mean, in kind of a hotel with not a presidential suite, but kind of like in a room that was really, really nice. And then I'm there close to Himalayas, so that's where I'm lying in bed, and there's a woman by my side. She's an Indian female who's from New York, but with her parents Indian, and we're leaving the room and going to a hot bath, like a hot spa, and we're swimming there in this hot spa, and I'm seeing the Himalayas, how the moon was basically melting itself in the like mountains of Himalayas, and I came to a point that I have everything I need. I don't need anything anymore for myself in any way. That's what I told to that girl. So I was like, I didn't feel the need to do absolutely anything. So I don't need any new experiences. I don't need another girlfriend. I don't need another, I don't need any earthly. So I thought that I experienced every earthly pleasure I could. There's like nothing else there. And that's why it prompted me thinking, like, really, what's my life for at that time, right? And I decided my life is for giving something to humanity, and really kind of, I'm going to be fine in the process. That was my kind of takeaway, right? I'm going to be totally fine. There's nothing happens to me. I know that I'm happy. I am responsible for my happiness, and I'm just going to be happy for the rest of my life. So what can I give to people? That was my takeaway.
I mean, amazing, for let's say that you went on a trip 19 years old, finish it, you said 21, so you were 21, 20 at the time, and you have this revelation that you have everything you need. And I think even more important is that you have this revelation that you are responsible for your happiness. I think that's rare, because mostly how people live, and we see it is, it's your fault that like you angered me, like it's your responsibility that I'm angry. That's how we live, and we point on others instead of taking responsibility ourselves. And that you took responsibility at that age, I think it's just awesome. Okay, we have a question for Chmurk. Was there any moment you wanted to cancel the journey and come home?
I think not.
Like that you had like homesick or something?
The closest I got to possibly canceling it was when I got caught in Cuba in a marine hitchhiking the boats towards Venezuela, and I was interrogated by the military officers there, and so I was put in prison in Havana. And when I told my parents, it was quite funny. I mean, now I'm laughing, but I didn't laugh at that time. It was proper prison, so really like with when the door closes behind you with a, you really know that it's like that. So I was in the prison, and then my dad sent a diplomatic envoy from Vienna to save me and bring me back to Slovenia, right? And I still can't fathom how stupid I was at that time. Like, I walk out as if I'm like someone who's like under the God's whatever. At that time I was writing letters to God, and I thought, that God is my special friend, that He's gonna arrange everything for me. And then I went out, and that guy said, "Hello, sir. We can get you out of here. Your father has taken care of everything, and you just get on the plane, and you're going to go to Vienna, then to Slovenia." I said, No. I can go to Mexico, Venezuela, Panama. No going back. I said, "I'm sorry, sir, but we can only get you back to Vienna. We can't take you to any other place. I'm really sorry." And I said, "What? I'm really sorry. Then I'm going back." And then I stood up and went back to prison. That guy was like, "What's wrong with this guy?" So with this boy. So somehow, I got some other prisoner who vouched for me, and he paid the bail, so they could they deported me to Mexico City. But I was crazy enough to never have any thoughts of going back home.
Okay, awesome. I mean,
there's one thing I experienced, that time was something that I could call bullying. Like I saw this myriads of comments, on my website. At the time I had the website, and then on the 24hours.com and all those, really, really nasty comments, like really nasty comments. And then I kept getting them, afterwards. And I experienced that being somehow known in some way, it invites a lot of kind of
criticism,
really evil comments, from people. So I remember I was quite down at some. I mean, I didn't consider quitting the trip, but I considered quitting reporting.
Yeah.
So I considered actually, not writing anything and just closing myself and not do anything.
Yeah, but okay, there's a comment. So Chmurk said, "Matej, you are super brave. Your traveling sounds like a script for a movie." So maybe there can be a movie made by going around the world the Matej Sedmak way. But but yeah, but okay, we can touch that. So being known at that time, right, and writing the blog, and you said there were some nasty comments. Was there more positive comments or more nasty comments, like by the percent, if you would evaluate the percentage?
Comments, but the nasty comments got closer to me, so they kind of like really got.
That's what I mean, it's awesome. It's like you are here to confirm or answer all the questions that I get from teenagers in this workshop that I do, and it's basically, it's also, I said to them, like, if we people have 10 things to do and we do 9 things perfectly and we don't do one thing, what are we hooked up on? And we are hooked up on that one thing. We are not proud that we did 9 things perfect, but we are like, we didn't do 10 out of 10. I missed one. I suck, or something.
I could totally relate to that. Totally.
But did you then quit reporting or not?
No.
Okay.
I kept.
Okay. And what was the thought in your head? I will keep on reporting, even when you doubted that.
Well, I reported every 3 weeks or so. So I had so much experience that I wanted to burst out of it. I just wanted to I was thinking what I'm going to write. And then also that the portal, expiriences.com, they were waiting for me to report because I promised them I would. So, so there was a block.
Awesome. I guess then that's that, right? You make a promise and then you stick to it regardless of how you feel or, what's going on around you. Amazing. And then after the trip, you come home. What happens?
After the trip, I come home and I try to write a book.
One more thing. You said you met the president at that time of Slovenian president, Janez Drnovšek. Well, how was meeting him? I did read his books, so I just interesting here how he was as a person. By your experience, of course.
He was like my mentor. Very, very strict. He was like a dad to me in some way. He was like admiring some of my courage and what I was up to, and at the same time he was very reserved. And he kind of wanted to train me to be a better man. And then when I actually ran for president, he strongly disagreed, and we exchanged multiple emails to each other. And he said, you are not ready for president, and you have no idea what this is, and you're just, you gotta grow up to the next level. So we exchanged multiple emails to each other. So he was like someone I'd be coming to when I had troubles and I didn't know what to do. I was like, messaging him.
But how did you become so close to him? It's not like you can get friends with the president any given day.
I actually, at that time, I wrote a letter for President of India and President of Pakistan. And I wrote to them my thoughts about how they should be friends with each other. And then I also announced I'm going to cross the border with no visa, just as a demonstration that we are, that we are one world. So that we're one world, and I'm crossing the border, and then send us messages, to presidents and so on. And then obviously, I didn't get the response from Indian president at the time, but I got a response from President Drnovšek. So he wrote to me, and then he said that he's going to visit India and he'd appreciate seeing me.
Awesome.
And then I got somebody to buy the plane ticket for me, and I flew from Delhi to there. And in between, I tried to cross the border to Pakistan, and I already got about 25 meters into the country, and then the army escorted me back. So I had to go back to India.
Go back to India.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just crazy. And at that point, you were 20 years old, right? Yeah, that's okay. Awesome. And then you come home after the trip, after all these, standing in regardless of the comments, regardless of the prison, and you know, I'm sure that there was also plenty of great moments. So yeah, if you guys are interested more, find Matej's book on somewhere. They can probably still buy it. Yeah.
It's in libraries. Yeah.
Libraries.
It's Peace Hiker book. Yeah.
It's in English or it's in Slovenian only?
In Slovene.
Okay. So for Slovenians, it's in libraries. Okay.
Yeah.
If you
it's in English, actually. I also have it in English, but it's not yet published.
Okay. Cool. When will it be? When will it be?
Don't know. I would need someone to take it on as a project. I don't know how to publish a book. I mean, not on that level.
Okay.
So it could be a bestseller, I think, if somebody took it on as a project.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. If anybody here wants to sell a bestseller, note write to Matej and see if you can get along. Okay, and then you come home after this 1.5 year trip going around the world. What happened? Like I can imagine, you know, you come home after 1.5 year traveling around the world into your village house, put down the backpacks. What are the thoughts running your mind?
I wanted to do something, and then the speed of my accomplishments was incredibly slow, based on what I imagined I would do. So it was quite hard for me to perform.
Okay.
Even writing a book, you know, it took me like 4 months to write four pages.
Oh yeah, so you decided you will write a book on the trip or after the trip?
After. So I decided to put everything together and kind of like complete it.
And then it took you 4 months for 4 pages. How did you deal with that? You know, it's how would I say, we people have a lot of ideas, right? And by every idea we have 20 actions immediately in our head, but usually then we do only maybe one.
You know what happened, I think, at that time to me was that fame and that attention from people got in my head a bit. So I became really arrogant, and I became kind of entitled, like I thought I was something special because of my experience. So I was traveling around Slovenia. I had different lectures. I was selling book. I mean, not yet. I mean, later on I wrote a book, but I was like, I had all these lectures. I was on radio stations and TVs, and I felt kind of entitled, you know, like I'm something special. So that humility that I had on a trip around the world when I had nothing and I was just being with local people, that was gone. And that was kind of sad. So actually at that time, I thought I really need to do something with myself. And at that time, I had a series of different courses that I did and different coaches I had that somehow I think brought me into a different path. So I got some concepts of like the importance of me being a man of my word. I got the concept of me being real, kind of true to who I am, not trying to prove something. And also I got really interested at that time into not being my automatic self. So kind of distinguishing whatever is running me and then stopping it and you know, having something else be created. So that was my work in that time when I was 21, 22. And was really effective. So at that time I actually wrote a book. I got myself a serious girlfriend. I got into business. Like I became a Photoreading instructor, which was one of my passions, to kind of follow how to learn better. Then I became a coach to a community of 260 people at that time. It was quite fun. And then I also ran for president when I was 23.
Okay.
It's kind of my first reaction that time.
So you said photo reading is your passion, right? And okay, you did all this series of events. You looked into what is really important to you and how to be your word and go. And how did you discover the photo reading? You said your mom brought you not brought you, I don't know English, like, you know, she involved you into reading a lot of books and education?
She
and
did. I mean, since I was little, you know, she kept reading to me every night. So I got into this, like, into the habit of reading. And then I found this technique, and I found actually a bunch of techniques at that time when I was in the end of high school, when I had troubles actually with school at that time. I got a couple of F's or ones, you know, like math and a couple other subjects. So I decided I'm gonna change myself in this regard. So I went into the library. I got the books on power of the brain, memory, and so on. And along that I also found Photoreading as a technique to kind of, you know, process the material faster. And I got quite good at it. So through the last year of high school, I got I was almost a golden what's the golden final examiner, you know. Slovenia we have that. You know, golden final examiner. So it's almost
in Slovenian.
Yeah. So it's like I got one point under, but I had the highest grade, so I was an A student by the end of the year. And I also got accepted to the international relations in Ljubljana, which was at that time very popular. It was very hard to get there. Awesome. So I became successful in that, and then after the trip around the world, I kind of wanted to do something for others from my success. So I wanted to like do a copy paste of whatever I did. So I found this technique and branded from America, and you know, Americans are quite good at packaging things. You know, there's like, I don't know, 20 or 30 different techniques packaged into one marketingly interesting package called Photoreading, you know. They promote it fiercely, so I thought I would be one of the instructors. So I became one of the 100 instructors. And also I became at that time, I think, the instructor that led them to most amount of people in 6 years. So a huge amount of people. So I've never met another instructor who in that period taught Photoreading to so many students as I did.
How many was it? I mean,
about 2,000.
Amazing. Okay, but you know, you said Photoreading. So, how fast can you read a book that has 200 pages?
Well, I had these demonstrations, you know, in different hotels where I took 6 minutes and I got the gist of it, and then I talked about it. And the person who's read the book, they've usually been impressed. Whoa, you got the gist. So I kind of. But actually, I think you need about 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour instead of 1 or 2 hours or 1 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's like maybe doubles
200 pages
double,
for me.
doubles the speed.
200 pages for me is, I don't even know how much long. It's probably too.
Yeah,
I won't even say it. My wife is reading fast. It's like we one time measured it, and she read that one page half. When I'm on the half of the page, she's at the bottom. So
I see.
So
I see.
Yeah, she also got it from reading a lot. But yeah, you said at the peak 6 minutes. I mean, that's impressive, and that is actually what the people got. Like the people who did.
I mean, that was more of a stunt, you know. Like in 6 minutes, I could get something.
Yeah.
So I would just I don't know, get a part of it. Usually, I would say 30 minutes is a good amount of time to get either completing the book or maybe half of the way to complete, something like that. So you need probably about 30 to 70 minutes to go through the book and get most of it, maybe 80%. So it's a technique that you are focusing on those 18% first before reading the rest.
Okay. I mean, sounds awesome, you know. So you can cover a lot of materials fast. Okay, so you did that. You were a coach. You were instructor to 2,000 people. Had a serious girlfriend. And then what happened? It's like.
And then.
What was
at that time?
Yeah. How come you didn't get like let's married and stuff like that? You know.
Yeah. I didn't. Well, I felt I wasn't ready for what I started doing. So I felt I need some more training and I need some different experiences before I could come back to Slovenia to do something. So I failed in presidential election. I think I failed in the community to keep them together, 260 people. I failed with a girlfriend. We didn't stay together after 11 months. We broke up. I basically felt I failed in many things. So that time I went to London. Actually, I decided to take some leadership training, and I went to kind of shape myself into a leader. So that was my intention.
Mm-hmm. So that is how you dealt with all the failures. You moved out of Slovenia to London and go do leadership programs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I continued running a Slovenian business, and London business, and kind of like.
So Slovenian business was this photo reading or something else?
Yeah. Photo reading.
And London business was
same.
Okay. I mean, it's amazing. You said you were basically your entrepreneur since the age of 13.
Mm.
And is that something that you would say inherited from your father?
I mean, the passion to entrepreneurship, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship has its own appeal. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. It's a hard path. It's a path full of stress, full of hard work when you don't want to. It's full of risks. You can lose everything. It's like a gamble sometimes. And it requires you to be really good at convincing people to say yes to something. Mm-hmm. If you're not really good at that, I think it's terribly hard. That's my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a successful entrepreneur. I'm just someone who could survive running my own business.
Okay.
And maybe I made about, I don't know, $1.5 million or 2 million euros in my whole life of entrepreneur. So it's not nothing, but it's also not like anything big. So I also spent about 2 million. So I'm not like.
Yeah, I got it. But still, you said I'm not a successful entrepreneur, and then I made like 2 million in my lifetime, which is basically most people don't like. The average pay in most countries is like, I don't know, let's say 30,000 euros per year. But I said that really high. It's like it's less. I think it's between 15 and 20 per year, right? So to 2 million, like if we divide that, it's a lot of years, probably more than one can make in one lifetime, right? And it's a fun, yeah. What I also want to say here is, right, the perspective is very important, like how you look at life or some things. Like I said, my perspective on me is that I'm not a successful entrepreneur. I made 2 million, I spent 2 million. But then if you said that to somebody who is making 20,000 per year, right? He will be like, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, you made 2 million by the age of, 30 and a little less. How old are you?
36.
Yeah, by the age of 36. I mean, it's...
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for that. Actually, but I think if somebody is making 20,000 and he keeps 5, and then he saves this way for 30 years, he's going to end up with much more money than I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the really important part of entrepreneurship is profit. I've just gotten that recently,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now a bit better. But I used to be playing with business, like playing a bit too much with resources in terms of trying to make an empire before I made enough money for it. So I was quite good at spending many times.
Yeah, but I think
with spending with a greed, like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna spend it, I'm gonna build this team now, and then we're gonna make this huge money."
Mm-hmm. And then
part of that
didn't happen.
No.
Okay, got it.
No, I've never fulfilled on my dreams to have a really big company.
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
The dream I want, not yet. When I was in Japan, I wanted to come to the Tokyo Stock Exchange. So that's my.
Okay.
I got very, very, very far from that.
Yeah. Well, let's just dwell into it. So you've been an entrepreneur since the age of 13, since you sell stickers and then CDs, and then the photo reading, travel around the world, meet the president of Slovenia. He was kind of your mentor, running for president elections, booming the business of photo reading in Slovenia and London. And then you said Japan. What happened that you moved to Japan?
So what happened was I was running my Slovenian business of Photoreading, and I got a bit tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt I want to create something new. I enjoyed the breakthroughs people had in those weekends in their learning, but I thought I'd like to have something bigger, something new.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Japan to learn some new techniques from the founder from Portugal, and I got them also with the help of Yuko, who was a participant there, and she translated to me. She helped me understand it, just as another participant. We became friends, and I told her my story, and she said, "Well, you're interesting. You should come to Japan and inspire us." And then I said, "All right, let me think about it. I'll come back to you in 42 hours." and then I came back to her in about 40 something hours, and I said, "I'm coming." And that was my decision. So I left everything I was doing in Slovenia, and I flew to Japan. And so I started everything anew there. So I wanted to start with a book. I started writing a book. I fell in love with my new investor, with the person who invited me there. And then we got married. And
So you fell in love with Yuko?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I fell in love with Japan, and I thought I want to be a Japanese now. So I changed my name to Ken Matsunaga. Matsunaga is her surname, so I just took it and ran with it.
Okay, and where did the name Ken come from?
Well, that was conceived in a conversation we had in a bath. We were talking about my name, and then she told me many names of Japanese, right? And I said no. And then somehow she told me Ken, and she told me that it could mean wisdom. And I realized that wisdom is something I'd really need.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, let me be Ken then. And then I'm still waiting for that wisdom to come. So I'm still. It should be, it's like when there's a name in Japan, you should be getting those qualities. So I'm expecting mine.
Okay. Still expecting. Okay, amazing.
Yeah, but right now Matej Sedmak.
Yeah, awesome. So
I was there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 kids. Those teenagers listening to us, I tell you something, having kids is really something. You stop wanting to chase other girls. You get to, being a father is really awesome. I mean, I'm so unprepared for it, and I'm so, in many ways, lousy at it, but in terms of not spending enough time with them. And just today we had an argument with my wife. She told me I'm not with kids at all, and she's right. I'm just in my things. But anyways, it's really amazing. Those moments being with your sons, your daughters, especially when they grow up a little bit, when they can talk. And me and Sophia, for example, I took her on dates. We were like, I took her from nursery. I was really busy in Japan. It was extremely busy. I was like working all days, 7 days a week usually. And then when those nights took off, I picked her up at the nursery, 7 p.m. because nurseries there work until 7 or even 8 sometimes. So it's normal for them. Lots of kids are there when I pick her up, And then I said to Sophia, and we spoke only Japanese by the way. I said, Sophia, we're going on a date. I said, date. We're going to central Tokyo. Sentaniku. And so we went to the train, and then we went to the restaurants, and she'd be like in a restaurant and ordering for herself. And then she wanted to go to the toilet, and the waiter, she was 2.5 at the time, I think, and the waiter wanted to take her off and said, no, Kibunde sama, I'm going alone, please leave me alone. And so she'd go off and go to the toilet and then come back. And everybody looked at her with these adoring eyes, and I just felt I had the most incredible date ever. that was my real enjoyment as a dad. Awesome. And then we'd go home, and she'd fall asleep on my lap, when we were on the train, and And that was her most beautiful moment. And she was waiting for this about once a month for me to pick her up like that. And she told all the friends, all the teachers at the time where she's going. She started speaking really quickly, really really developed Japanese. And it was really awesome.
Awesome. I mean, listening to you and also I got tons of questions. But one thing that it's popping out is, maybe I'll be a little direct and straightforward here, but you being here, then going travel around the world for 2 years, coming back, starting your business, leaving everything behind and go to Japan. There is a sense of, that two senses actually. One is that you're being like really light about life. You just pick up a decision and go 100% and leave everything behind. But at the same time is, man, this man is living life a bit irresponsible or not, It's like, and I want to, just to see how you perceived everything. Like,
Being responsible or not responsible. Well, I think right now I'm the most responsible I've ever been in my life. Having a wife and kids, and knowing they depend on me on multiple levels, and really needing to fix it when something doesn't work. And I think I'm at the peak of my own responsibility, but I'm far from where I would want to be. So I'm not like the responsibility is not like something that would define me. It's not like Matej Sedmak responsible. These are not like two things I guess would be easily placed together.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, or everything you share with us, which is amazing. It's like,
when I was 19, I was thinking like this, my parents, who cares? They're my parents. They're kind of, they're not, I'm not theirs. It's my life. People go to army, so I wanted to do my own army. So that was my kind of, if I die, I die, that's that, people die. So I was kind of like that, It's like, it's my life and it's my future. And if I don't do what I dream to do, what my life is for, I'm going to be just I don't know, someone who's going to become automatic human being like the rest of them, ordinary. And I didn't want that. So that was clear. I don't want that. I was clear. I don't want to be an ordinary person. And then secondly, the choices are choices, right? And then not taking a choice is also kind of irresponsible because you'd regret it. So I wanted to make sure that when I die, I'm not going to regret anything. And up to right now, actually, I have no regrets. I literally have no regrets. Not one thing I've done I regret. I mean, I've made mistakes. I've done things that I wouldn't do them again, but I don't regret them. I really learned something from every choice. I think not making a choice and lingering in something would be what would really stop me from living.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you just said right now. It's exactly how also I'm living my life, and what I want to give to people is like just what you said, living without regrets. And that means, you go and do you. And, if you made a mistake, you deal with it. But at the end, like you said, at any given point in life, you don't have regrets, which is basically one big backpack, not on your back, that you're carrying around with full of regrets. So I should do this, I should say that, so I missed the opportunity, I was sitting on the fence for too long, then my ass started hurting, and I went back to the comfort zone. So yeah, that's really amazing. And okay, you said you were in Japan. What kind of business you were running there? Also the business of fast reading, the photo reading, or?
No, I couldn't because somebody else had a license for Japan, so I couldn't start that. I wanted to do something with languages because I thought I'm so incredibly stupid for languages after my German experience. I thought that I really can't learn. And then at some point in Mexico, I learned fluent Spanish in relatively short space of time. My Spanish is actually really good, and I didn't spend much time on it, but I really did the right method, I would say. So I realized that there's nobody who really would be teaching people the right method. of the language. So that was something I wanted to bring to people. And then I started a language school called Life Language Bootcamp. And right now, this language school is booming here. I mean, booming kind of. I have literally 49 of the most incredible people I've met in my life that we're together in one community, learning the language. It's just delicious. I'm so happy to be with them. They just make me so happy. So that's been kind of my dream to create, and I feel that I reached what I could reach. And here's the point where I'm now retiring from that and going to new business.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but 49 people, are they all from one country, different countries? How is it going?
Croatia, Slovenia, and Japan.
Awesome.
Some of them are famous. Some of them are owners of clinics or some big companies. Some of them are professionals like doctors, lawyers, and like really, really accomplished people who are really something. And then I felt that them trusting me that they're going to join this community with me for 1 year or 3 months in the case of some, it's just gorgeous.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm, I know you, but I don't really know you. You know what I mean? I mean, we know each other for a couple of months, and we've been a little bit tighter, let's say, for the last month and a half. But I didn't know anything. So basically, for me, this is all new. Like all the guests I had until now, I knew them for a couple of years. I don't know you for a couple of years, but I'm really amazed by your, the passion you have for entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, I'm like, how is this guy still, I hear struggle in the voice when you're talking about businesses. There is something missing. Like you said before, I am an entrepreneur. I made 2 million. I spent 2 million, and I'm not good at it.
And
I'm like,
they actually distinguished in April this year. I distinguished it with all the coaching and all the techniques I learned and everything. I didn't learn how to be with teams.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. I don't know. There's something about, and I'm still struggling. This is like my biggest learning is how to be with teams.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think I'm just getting some basic knowledge of how to be with teams and how to operate teams and how to really work with other people. So for me, working with other people is quite hard. My sister, for example, she's really good at that. She can easily run a team and she can have people do stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a struggle. So for me, it's a struggle to give something away to someone and explain them and train them to the point they can really deliver it well. Because I always need to put my nose into everything. And I have this thing that, I don't know, one of my coaches told me that I have a big brain. Like a brain is too big. It's in the way. And maybe that's what many people, I don't know, experience or feel. I've always been good at math. I've been good at kind of, operations, doing the kind of just, the processing in my brain. And sometimes when I process a lot of things, I get really complex ideas and I don't really make them simple for people who's not heard of them before, who hasn't been marinated in them for a long time. They hear for the first time, like, all right. So I'm missing that. I'm missing that. My dream really would be to be a warrior like Sun Tzu mentions, is that you go to war winning the war. So you already win the war in your head and then you go on and you go into the war. I'm right now someone who most of my time I'm trying to win the war.
Okay.
I've just had some of the business breakthroughs actually just in September. I've actually been quite successful, but it's been extremely hard. And I'm really thinking it's a really good point. Like, why am I struggling so much? It's I think there's something for me to give up, and my next level will be someone who can think of the strategy in my head and then take the army to reach it. So that's my next level.
Yeah, I'm amazed by how to say self-reflectiveness that you have. That you're always looking into yourself. I mean, I know it wasn't always like this, which it's obvious with the people, but that you took that responsibility and that you took it into yourself. Look from your point of view, like, okay, this and that happened, so what am I responsible for that? Instead of going to, my team didn't do good work, my dad, whatever happened around us, the circumstance. I think that is a good point that we can actually give on to people, is that whatever you're doing is, whenever you're failing, first look at what did you do that this happened, even though
that's
even though it seems that somebody else did, even if you get in a car crash, you can immediately say it's the other guy's fault, right? Even though he got into your lane, but then you can see, okay, did I drive by the limit of the speed? Oh, I didn't. You know what I mean? It's like you can.
Yeah, if I'm someone that be driving a car with my kids, right? And if I know that he's been in an accident before, there'll be one determining factor if I put my kids in that car or not. Is whether that guy says, well, I had an accident and it was my fault. And after that, I've taken this and this and this action. I've never done it again. Or if somebody says, yeah, I was in this situation, in this circumstance, that's why it happened. I don't trust people who look into in life through lenses of circumstances.
Got it.
There are always circumstances, but you can always see what you could have done that you didn't do.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. It's like, maybe to simplify it a little bit, for the viewers who are not having that point of view, would be like, whatever, even if your boss is horrible to you, you can say, my boss is horrible, my job suck, la 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 la, I don't want to work there and stuff like that. Or you can be like, okay, what am I doing that my boss is acting like this towards me? Am I being punctual for work? Do I do all the work that we agree on? Do I deliver on time? And if you check everything by yourself,
am I adding value, right? Am I adding value to what's important to him?
Yeah.
Because people who own companies, including myself, we're stressed. So it's kind of times it's terrible being responsible for a company and employees and people, who's it's kind of just hard sometimes. And if I have people who work for me and they wouldn't be causing the matter, or they wouldn't like really kind of clearly wanting to deliver something, we're making sure they're doing best job, I'll be unpleasant with them, I guess, so it's really good point. I think it's good to begin. And then if something doesn't work for you, you can always leave, it's not you're not imprisoning any company.
Exactly.
You usually have contracts that whatever expire. And
exactly.
And I've been one of those horrible bosses, actually. I've had my team leaving, I've had team leaving and I've dealt with that. And sometimes I apologized and I got some team members back. It's on both sides. If you're the boss, it's important to be accountable, to be like responsible and seeing yourself as a source of something that's not working. And if you're on the side of the employee or contractor, it's important you keep thinking, what's the value that needs to be delivered? Not like that every document is perfectly colored, more like what's the overall value I'm going to bring at the end of the month.
Yeah, got it. I think that's a great point to give to, even if it's a youth, teenager, or any given person, is like, you could be the one who is always blaming the others, or you can be the one who takes responsibility. And even though it seems easier, to blame others than to take responsibility, but it's much more freer and full of ideas and being alive when you take responsibility and you go, okay, what if all this is my responsibility? What can I do about it? When you're blaming others, you're actually going like victim through life, right? And usually doesn't work. And you are, and what I'm really hearing what you're saying is the humanity that you're bringing into everything. Even if you said I've been unpleasant boss, most people won't say that, right? It's like they would look bad, But you said, I was unpleasant boss, and then I apologized and I got some teammates back, some teammates leave. And an amazing point that you gave was, we are free. We can leave. Like, we don't need to be anywhere that we don't want to be. But where we are, it's our choice, and do the best that you're doing at that spot, or just change something, do something different. And I think that is one thing we can definitely take from you. It's like if you don't want something, or you want to change something, it's your life. Whatever choices, like you said, you make, or decisions or actions, they're your responsibility. So and if you don't have regrets, then it's for you easy to be responsible for them. I think that is also
great. And then I really want to thank you for today. And I'm now understanding who you are with this microphone. What a beautiful space this is for people to express ourselves and to kind of share what's on our mind. You really squeeze out of us something good, I think. So I like myself when I'm around you in this interview. So it's not something I always feel. Really, I feel taken care of. I feel gotten. I feel deeply understood. I feel you're asking the right questions, and I feel your selflessness and your love for teenagers. I think teenagers need a buddy like you. They need a champion like you.
I mean, thank you. And basically what you said is my intention of these talk shows, is that we, through the life of people who are pursuing their passion, whether they're successful or not, whether they think they're successful or not, but just pursuing your passion is really rare these days. But it's the one thing that kept you going. And, even though, like the last show we had Dan in here, who is not financially free, we can say, or he is not earning big money with what he's doing, but he is pursuing that because he really believes in that, and that is what gives him aliveness. Is there a stress of lacking of finance? Yes, but when you put it on a weight, who you want to be for the world and what you're bringing, and that is exactly. And another point that it's in my hidden agenda that I don't usually say to the guest is that you get connect with who you are in your life and what did you accomplish. And that is usually you don't go through your life like saying from time to time and see what you achieved, then remember, oh, I did that, I talked to that person, I did that, I made so much money, I did so many companies, I don't know, whatever, right? But okay, you said you were in Japan and now you're back in Slovenia. So how come, I could imagine Yuko is Japanese. She has family there, I imagine, right? And that, and after so many years that you guys were here, now you bring them all to Slovenia. So what happened? What was what is the story, or I don't know, decisions, choices behind that?
Well, I had a conversation with my dad, and he told me to consider coming to Slovenia. There's lots of opportunities open here. He said, in Japan, you're in a really, really established market. Slovenia is a place full of opportunities connected to the whole European Union. It's a big market, and it's lots of things you could develop, create, and do. And maybe even us, we're going to do something together. So I thought, right, let's try. And it's really opening up for me here. So I'm really happy for this choice.
Okay. How did you enroll your wife into it? You just said, Yuko, there's opportunities in Slovenia, we go there. And she said, okay. Or
it was not one conversation.
Yeah. I can imagine.
It was stormy. It was like it was hard. And eventually she said yes. And I'm grateful for her. She did. She's a really courageous woman. I'm really lucky to have her.
Yeah, I mean, not having a courageous woman by your side, I don't imagine it will go through with how you are living your life, right? I mean, and the same goes for me. I said, one thing that a girl that I would be with, she would need to be courageous, and yeah, I also met her, so I can totally relate to you with that. But yeah, you guys came back and you said a lot of opportunities are opening up. What would you say until now from everything that you share with us? It's like, what did you get for yourself out of your whole story from 13 years old being an entrepreneur to now moving through places, motions, times,
I got that I really, really love entrepreneurship. I love to be entrepreneur. I love to support entrepreneurs. I love to see the new ideas coming. I really believe actually entrepreneurs are the ones changing the world, and entrepreneurs are the one who's gonna make the biggest changes in every area, from tackling the pandemic, entrepreneurship. There's, I don't know if you know, but there's a guy in Africa who's an entrepreneur who realized like there's a lot of people in Africa dying from COVID-19 because the oxygen is really expensive, right? And somebody saw that, he connected the dots, and he realized that he should make an oxygen plant close to the hospital. That's the first such business, because usually the transport of oxygen is really expensive and unreliable. So people literally die because of pneumonia or because of COVID-19 or flu or whatever. They can't get oxygen. So he started this business, and the price of oxygen dropped in Africa. So I love the stories, kind of stories, and I see myself as someone who's gonna now, with a new business idea that I have, bring something totally new and amazing to the organizations in Slovenia, and bring the GDP up of the country through my businesses I'm gonna build.
Amazing.
So you gave me courage myself to follow the path I started, and even if it's hard sometimes, I can keep going.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I totally see you. You glowed now when you said that. Before, when you said I'm not a successful entrepreneur, you almost died on in on your face. And now you're just connected to something, and yeah, that's awesome. That's what actually I'm standing for. So I also breathe. That's what I want to give to people, to teenagers. Is like, look, wherever you are in life, you're never stuck unless you say you're stuck. You're a bad entrepreneur because you say you're a bad entrepreneur. I mean, we can go through facts, but those facts will just show Matej is that much in debt, or Matej made that much profit. But is that good or bad? It's your perspective to say, So I think, yeah.
Thank you, Amir.
Yeah, you're welcome. But one more thing I always go into with also people who are in a relationship, what is the heart, or what would you say is the thing that is actually driving relationship between you and Yuko? Like, you went to there, fall in love, you guys got married, have children, 2 beautiful girls, and then you moved to Slovenia.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
So I asked her for marriage about 3 weeks after we met. And I remember making that choice. I wrote it down. I wrote down the reasons why I would marry her, why I wouldn't marry her. I know nothing about her past. We've been together for a few weeks. Many reasons either way, but at the same time, she's cute, and we were like, no, and there's a future I can jump into. And then one reason stood out for me was I could make her really happy. I could make her the happiest woman in the world. It sounds like a bit cheesy and dreamy or whatever, but I'm really a person who likes making people happy. Maybe some of my friends will confirm that. I really, really enjoy when other people are happy. So I really wanted to make her happy. And I said, right, that it would be worth if I spend my life, and I'm responsible for my own happiness anyway, so nobody's going to make me or not make me happy. Right now, I'm happy with her. I'm going to keep choosing to be happy myself, and then I can make her happy and build a really extraordinary life for her. And then I chose, and I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. And then every time when we had troubles, I remembered that choice. That was my choice. I'm going to make her happy. She's angry now. Well, I'm not doing my job. I gotta get myself together and really listen to what she's complaining about and transform myself. And I think that's a great opportunity for men, especially, that we can have a woman that drives us to become less of monkeys and more of, Homo sapiens. So I think I strongly believe that women are really giving us men a lot of grounds.
Yeah,
you probably agree with me on that front.
Totally, I agree. Yeah, and it's and it's really funny, there are different things that are that are, let's say, I don't know, the heart of the relationships. And you say it's one that I also strongly believe it's a choice, right? Because there are mornings when you wake up next to her and you're like, really, this is it for the rest of my life. And then there are other mornings when you say, yeah, really, this is it for my life. You're really, so, and in that moment is always a choice whether, what you're going to do. So I think.
Well, I need to say that for me, there are not many moments like that I would think like, she's not for me. I guess, well, she's really extraordinary. That's one of the things, And then secondly, I think I created her in my listening as really the person they keep referring to. I think once we decide who someone is, if we are careful about it, we make it cleanly and we don't involve our own reactions to this person or our own whatever complaints about it. If we don't let things stink, the person can actually be really, really attractive and interesting. I actually wake up every morning beside to her and think, wow, I'm so happy. She's really a actress. I actually really think that way.
Yeah, I can connect to you with that. Is to just share myself a bit here. Is since we became parents, it's just like Ursula can be whatever mood she is in. I just see an awesome person. It's just like
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know.
she's mom of your child.
Yeah, and she is a woman. Look, I can share here. I made basically all my child dreams come true by the age I'm now. It's like I'm doing what I like doing, being there for people, running workshops, one-on-one coaching, streaming. I'm married, family now. That when I was 8, all I want to be is a husband and a dad. Then later on, I want to be a streamer because I love gaming and stuff like that. And then later on, my passion is to contribute to people. But so when I look at her, it's like making my life, my dreams come true. And it's not that she is responsible, I know, but she is accomplishing into that, like a partner in that crime. So yeah.
The common trait I see with us, and maybe the listeners, the teenagers are going to be listening to that. The common trait is there is a lot of creation in our speaking. So I think that sometimes we humans forget how powerful our language is. We really create a lot of things in our speaking, and I heard like this last hour and 22 minutes, I have not heard any complaining from you. I've not heard any victim speak. I've not heard any blaming anybody, and that requires some discipline to be that way, and requires like a life choice that you're going to be positive, constructive, contributing to others, so to say, enrolling or inspiring, right? And it's a real choice that has real consequences. And I concur to your way of being. I'm also striving to be this very same way. And it's very, very few times that you hear me complaining about something or that something is not okay, because I'm really aware of the power of language.
Yeah.
And I think that teenagers listening to right now, it's you really say what you're going to be and where you're going to go. And when your word in the world is really the one that's creating your results. And if your word is, I'm an awesome mechanic and I can fix any car, you're going to be super successful and rich and powerful and amazing. And if you're someone who said, look, I'm going to be a great hairdresser, I'm going to be owner of a company, whatever you say you're going to be, you're going to then find a path how to get there. Exactly. But it's really important to keep bringing this speaking into life, keep bringing this future into life in moments when you don't feel like it, and then you bring that language onwards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how I present to teenagers what you just said, creating in language, is like, if you think your mother is annoying, I said to them like this: if you go into a conversation with the thought that your mom is annoying, how the conversation goes? What do you want to prove in that conversation? And they all start laughing, because in that moment they realize, yeah, if I go into conversation, my mom is annoying, I will prove my mom is annoying. I know what I need to say that my mom appears annoying and that she becomes, So I think that that's a great point that you said, and also I think a great point that because you're a busy man, we are close to the end of our talking show tonight with you. It was a great, I would say, pleasure, and to introduce you, to present you, to listen to you, how you deal with your life, what you went through, all the motions, like from totally entrepreneur guy since the age of 13 to a fully religious and have his own beliefs, and then not destroyed, but taking the totally opposite way, traveling around the world and see all different kind of people and religions, and the things, and running for president, and then having your business in Europe, start a new business in Japan, now coming back to Europe, start a new business here. I mean, it's just, whatever you're going through, I think it's amazing being by your side. And yeah, if it's one thing that people can take from you, is courage to follow their dreams no matter what, and living life without regret. And yeah, that is all about being free. And will you make mistakes, and will you fail? Definitely. Will you think that you're a failure? Definitely. I mean, Matej here took so many choices, and he still thinks he's a bad entrepreneur because of whatever reasons he got. But I hope that will change after tonight. that you see something else in who you are, and that maybe the measure by the money, it's not all who entrepreneurs are.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, so like with every time, we will pack this show into a YouTube video, so you can watch it later if you miss some parts. There we have a moderator. It's basically my brother. He's also making the whole show into sections. So every YouTube video, every show is in sections now. Like, Matej talking about Japan, it will be a section. So you can only watch sections, and all the previous YouTube videos is like that. And to introduce our next guest, is also really connected to Japan. He calls himself like a samurai. He's having samurai gym in Slovenia. It's some people already know who I'm talking about. It's Chorchip, if you know who he is. He will come on Sunday. It's Denis Porčić Chorchip. Yeah, it's a guy who is having his own gym, and he's successful. He was a fighter, a musician. He's now teaching. He made a movie named Samurai. So it's a really, really awesome person to talk to. Even when I asked him if he would be the part of my talk show, when we first talked to each other, he spoke to me as we are friends for 20 years. I'm like, who is this guy? I don't even know him, and we talk like that. So it's just amazing, and I think it's awesome. And I love Japan, the samurai way, Bushido way as well. So maybe for conclusion, Matej, one last question. How did you dealt with Japanese culture coming from Europe, and what did you bring back to Europe from it?
We dealt with it as most Europeans do, I think, with lots of arrogance and thinking that I can teach them a lot, and being very, very entitled and loud. And then I brought home lots of calmness and respect and honor, and knowing how far I am from being a Japanese. Being a Japanese is really not easy.
What does being a Japanese mean in perspective that you learned?
Well, I see samurais really, the samurai spirit is really at the heart of every Japanese I met so far. Japanese hold themselves accountable to a very high standard of living and being. Very high, ridiculously high standard. And they would conduce themselves toward that standard most of the time. Hence, you see virtually no crime in Japan, despite 125 million people. And Japanese are so sensitive, so smart, and so sensitive to what's going on for another person. And at the same time, giving you a lot of space to go through whatever you need to go through. And they're so critical of themselves. Usually, like if I was in America and say, I really love this country. I want to be an American. And of course you would, we are the best. I'm in Japan and I tell people, 本当に日本が大好き. I say, I really love Japan. Oh, 本当? どうして? Really? Why? They genuinely want to know why would anybody love Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so humbling and so transformative being around Japanese people.
Yeah, I totally can connect here. I love that the movie, even though it's Tom Cruise played the last samurai, but the whole that 45 minutes in the movie when he dealt with his soberness, like when they caught him and bring him into the mountains, and the whole transformation that he achieved through the conversations and meditation and stuff like that. Yeah, it really caught my eye. I mean, not my eye, but like I just love the way. And then one sentence really stuck with me. If you spend your whole time looking at the cherry flower to grow, it wouldn't be wasted life. If you would only do that, it wouldn't be wasted life. And I'm like,
how that guy gave life for him. He never talked. And then in the moment he needed, he sacrificed his life to save him. Right? That was my experience of my Japanese friends and my Japanese family. They would literally give life for me, and they would not show it in any other way. They were just there, like in such a, like I was lucky to get in such a deep parts of Japanese society. I've really been the only white person around in almost every community I was in, and it was really humbling to be accepted. I was treated and accepted like a Japanese. I learned to have some kind of a voice that even if I made a phone call, I would sometimes be sounding like a Japanese person booking somewhere. So I would even book in some restaurants that be only for Japanese people, not for foreigners. And oh my God, the experiences I had in those last 6 years were so incredible. I've just never seen a nation that is that close to my heart. And with all their funniness and mistakes and, the weaknesses. So it's not like they're far from perfect people, but so human, so authentic, so beautiful, really.
Amazing. I mean, yeah, one day I will go to Japan. Definitely. I just, you're just connected to me with that. I'm also getting a lot for myself. I traveled a lot with my parents when I was young. So if you ask, like Usha also likes traveling, and I don't like to travel anymore. For me, just if you would say, let's go for a week on Caribbean, my immediate thought is, what am I gonna do there? Man, it's a bunch of sand and sea and lying there on the sand, and scuba diving or all those boring things. No, I love to be with people. If you would say, let's go for a week in Caribbean and we will meet these people, we will talk to those and that people, I'll be like, okay, let's go. But if you go, let's go for a vacation just to lie down, I'm like I'm like I've seen a lot of sand and sea and stone in my life, so I'm not interested in the buildings anymore. So but with Japan, I would also like to know their culture, so we'll be more in touch about that. Definitely. And yeah, thank you, Matej, for sharing your life with us, and how you approach it and what basically drives you and how you approach your passions. I think it's in a way it's really brilliant, and it's really courageous and unstoppable. Even though you, like you said, you failed many times and you had a lot of downs, you always come up and live without regret, which is basically what gives you a calm mind. So I don't know, I could keep on talking and talking, but there is, you always have to end at some point. So this is it. So anything else you want to add?
No, I think we said everything.
We said everything, exactly. So thank you guys for watching. there will be more stream this week from me. Mainly Call of Duty, because we are preparing for a tournament on Sunday. There will be a talk show on Sunday with, like I said, Denis Porcichorci. We will make announcement tomorrow in Slovenian, and then early in the morning on Monday we are starting with our first podcast. Me and Alexander are doing it. It's from 6 to morning to 8 in the morning. We don't know what topic will be at. You guys will know it. And yeah, the name of the podcast is nearly picked. We just need to confirm it and then do everything around that. So thank you guys for contributing to that on Monday. And yeah, we'll be seeing you. And Matej, thank you again. And maybe
you're welcome.
Sometime in podcast it comes a topic that we will see you involved and invite you for a guest if you're up for it.
Please do that.
Okay, awesome. So thank you guys and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.